Hello Nerdy Jurors, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach the Nerd, the show that takes your favorite nerd content and puts it on trial. And this week's defendant is Iris West from the Arrowverse. And the accusation? Should Iris West be the leader of Team Flash? Take a seat, because court is in session right now. In the comics, Iris West was born in the 30th century and sent to the past by her parents. Suspecting she was not who she thought she was, Iris developed an obsession with uncovering the truth. This resulted in her becoming an investigative journalist. Now, Iris West in the Arrowverse has a very different origin story, which has caused a lot of fans to really dislike her. They particularly disagree with Iris being named leader of Team Flash. But is that fair? Let's dive in and see what you think. Here are the top 5 reasons that ask if Iris West should be the leader of Team Flash. Number 5. Iris can't be leader because she only has an English degree. If you remember the pilot episode of The Flash, then you can recall that Iris had no interest in physics. Nor is she a bioengineer like Caitlin Snow, or a genius mechanical engineer like Cisco Ramon. And she's certainly not on the level of Harrison Wells. But she does have a degree in science, and it's in psychology. In fact, she was working on her dissertation to graduate when her laptop was stolen. And I know what you're gonna say, science degree. But yes, psychology is considered to be the science of the mind. And since I'm married to someone with the exact same degree, I'm not gonna argue with that. And it's true that Iris cannot invent anything, nor does she have bioengineering skills. But she does have very good deductive skills and observation skills, which are just as important in a leader. Number 4, Iris is not useful. The CW is credited for having strong female counterparts in the Arrowverse. Like Arrow's Felicity Smoke, a computer science engineer. Black Lightning's Dr. Lynn Stewart, a neuroscientist. Supergirl's Dr. Alexandra Danvers, a bioengineer and director of the DEO. Legends of Tomorrow's Ava Sharp, director of the Time Bureau. And Lois Lane, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter. All of these women are considered extremely smart, talented, and useful according to fans. Unfortunately, Iris West is the only female lead who does not make the list. And one of the reasons for this is that fans don't think that Iris West is useful. In fact, they find it hard to believe that Iris continuously solves problems that the rest of Team Flash, with their advanced degrees, failed to solve. So simply translated, the fans refuse to accept any character who does not have a science degree or science knowledge to solve any science-related issues. Except they have. Meet Jack Carter, former U.S. Marshal and Sheriff of the town of Eureka. The town of Eureka is really a top-secret residential facility that houses the most brilliant minds in America who are working on some of the most ambitious and life-altering experiments known to man. And in every episode, one of the experiments causes a big problem that Jack has to solve without any science knowledge. Jack's able to solve every case by taking the information that he acquires from the scientists and piecing it all together, kind of like Iris does as a journalist. So when fans see Iris remind Barry of the device that Cisco created to trick the Speed Force into freeing him, it's not that she's coming up with that plan, she's just reminding him of what already worked. Which is also what leaders do. Number 3, Iris marries her brother. Another thing that Iris catches a lot of heat about is her relationship with Barry, especially after they get married. Most people consider them brother and sister, even though they're actually just pseudo-siblings who grew up in the same house. So I think we should set the record straight about these two once and for all. These are Barry's parents, and these are Iris's parents. So Barry having his own parents and Iris having her own parents equals both of them being biologically unrelated. Now, if we were talking about her being in a relationship with her biological brother Wally, then that would be an entirely different story. So I do admit to being a little confused about why some fans are so opposed to Barry and Iris being together, but I have no problem reading manga or watching anime like Marmalade Boy. And if you haven't seen it, I will link the summary below. And don't get me started on the twins. So I hope that cleared up any confusion on the status of Barry and Iris's relationship, and the fact that they were pseudo-siblings and not biological siblings. I don't really know how this is actually applicable to the conversation of Iris's leadership skills, but a lot of fans added it to their list of why they don't like her. Number 2, Iris is not a good leader because Iris cannot fight at all. Even though Iris was trained by Joe to fight since she was 6, I'm gonna let these video clips do the talking. So here is a compilation of Iris West knocking people out. And that brings us to number 1. Iris is not a metahuman. There are a lot of fan favorites in comic books, MCU, DCU, and Arrowverse that do not have superpowers but are accepted fully, and their leadership skills are never called into question. Mr. Terrific's a tech genius. White Canary is a deadly assassin. Then we have a street brawler, a soldier, and of course the man who started it all. Playboy turned vigilante and self-appointed savior of his own city, Arrow. So then what's wrong with Iris? I mean, they accept Sarah Lance as the new team leader for Legends of Tomorrow, even though she's an assassin with no real team building skills. So it can't be because she's a woman. Does her race play into it? I mean, traditionally Iris West in the comics was white. Are fans still bitter about that? And one of the biggest assets of being a leader is the team that you have working under you. And Iris has one of the best. So her decision-making skills are 100% a reflection of the people that she's around daily. So having special abilities, a very fancy science degree, or being a metahuman should never be a prerequisite to being a great leader. Even if Iris did look good in that suit when she got Barry's powers temporarily. And there you have it, the top 5 reasons why Iris West should potentially be the leader of Team Flash. What do you think? Leave us a comment below and let us know. And if you'd like to be signed up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to know who's next on our ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait to see you in Nerd Court. And if you have time, make sure to check out some of our other videos.